So I'm back with the Tornado. It's going to be a little bit longer than I'd like for the belts to arrive here. They came from South Korea. So this RS4 project here will wait. I have pretty much everything I need, and I'm going to disassemble these two and use whatever's good from them to put on here. So I don't think it's going to end up interfering with this project. I'm not going to be held up like I am here in the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just disassembling each one and put all the stuff that needs to be washed in here, all the screws and bits that are still good in here, and we'll see what we have as a result at the end with what's broken between the three units. I may end up using a different body just because this handle here interferes with the bed. So we'll see what else I have in the stash of used bodies. I like the handles, so I don't want to get rid of the handle just to use the body, so preserve this for another HPI or HotBodies project in the future. But anyways, let's see what's going on with these three. But I'm going to start with these two. Alright, so got this one broken down. There's a lot of missing parts, a lot of mismatched screws, and a lot of missing screws. Front bumper was done, and it was glued back together, as you can see. It was stuck to the front bulkhead, so I had to pry that off. Like I said, it was missing a lot of parts, mainly from the rear end and the driveline. This front belt assembly is like seized. The bearings won't move, or the shaft won't move through the bearings. It's kind of stuck where it is, so it's probably going to need some warm water before I can do anything with it. But the chassis is straight, so that's good news. You can there's gunk on here, so anyways, it's pretty straight, usable. Front bumper foam was a little chewed up, but still usable. So this is basically a good parts lot. I knew that's what this was going into, getting it, so these will clean up and be nice spares. This one's a little more complete as far as the driveline goes. There's less stuff on the top chassis, but it's not a problem. This one's more complete under there, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this one torn down, and we'll see what's needed. Or in other words, we'll see what's broken. Alright, so I got the second one broken down. All the parts were good that were there, except for the inner front pulley that goes to the front belt. The front belt itself is a little sliced on the side there, so I'm not going to use that front. And you can see on the other inner front pulley, this one's kind of shot, but the belt is okay. The rear and center belt were okay. The 43 tooth spur gear that I thought the HPI might work, it's obviously different with the one-way bearing in there, so I'm not sure it'll work, but that 43 tooth is shot, but that doesn't matter because it's right there. So got a good amount of spare parts. One set of brakes. You know, the first one was missing a lot of the rear end, including the brakes. So I've got what was missing on the first one and the second one. So some parts will be doubles, some will be singles, and continuing to disassemble, I will find more parts. This one's pretty clean, so clean in the sense of like it wasn't used and put away dirty. So I think I might just try to do maintenance on this one, or you know, fix what's broken and just build it off of what's there. I'm gonna check the differentials. They feel fine from when I had the wheels on. I remember they felt fine, but yeah, so this one's pretty much complete. You know, obviously it's got, still got the stock servos, and I know that it does get quite dirty up here in this front assembly, and I think that's why you've seen failures there. This one obviously has failed as well. You can see it's just the front spinning there, and I think it's because, well, I know it's because the pulley is done. So I think that's a trend for this vehicle. I'll have to check it out on these other ones here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff ready to be cleaned so that I can use it to source for the other parts on this car. So the other thing I want to do is run one of the cars, the one with the working carburetor. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig out some wheels and see about getting a receiver and battery in here, and maybe we'll run this too. Alright, so got some wheels on this car. It's looking pretty good. I think HPI did a good job with this car here. I ended up removing the other inner lights just because I didn't like the one missing, and I just figured it'd look better with all four of them out. I'll go ahead and clean up the inside of the body and get those reattached at some point in the future. I put some wheels on here just to see how the shocks were. They seem to be fine. The front end, the front differential feels okay. The rear feels okay too. So I will disassemble this and check out the internals of the differential and just make sure everything on the transmission is as it should be. But it's clean enough so I'm not going to have to actually wash the parts, so that's pretty good. And I'm going to have some of the new parts on there, especially from the drive line. That'll be good. And then anything else that's missing, I'll be able to source from those other parts. I may even be able to build a second car, well, a fourth car, but out of those other two donors. But yeah, I'm gonna charge up a battery. I've got the radio charged, and get this thing bench tested, and if it's successful, I'm gonna take it out for a run while I'm waiting on those parts to soak. So the battery just finished charging. I'm gonna get this thing ready. But one of the things I was just noticing, one of the major difference between two that I have here and this one is that it is for a rotating carb. You can see the difference in the position. You can see the brake linkage is different and the throttle linkage is different. This is for a slide carb. The other one's for a 1.5 rotating carb. So that's pretty good. It's pretty cool. So that gives me some room to play with ideas with different engines. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one ready for some bench testing. Alright, so I went ahead and centered the steering because that was off. I checked to see if fuel will go through the carburetor, and it does. The glow plug works. I think this thing's ready for some bench testing. So I'm gonna prime it up and give it a few pulls and see what happens. Electronics are set up. So let's see. It did take a little bit to get started. Definitely over 20 pulls, but it's been sitting for well over 2 years, so can't expect more from it. So I'm going to do a little bit more testing on the bench before I take it out to the field, just so save some time. So yeah. So I was able to get it to run and idle. I noticed that there's a little bit of oil around the fuel tank here. I don't know if that's from when I was running it and holding it and moving it around, just because I had to make sure that the exhaust was going out the window. I don't want to set off the fire alarms. I did that the other day. It's a pretty intense setup. I was cooking eggs around midnight after work, and I set off the fire alarm. It was quite a scene, just because the fire department shows up, and it was just completely unnecessary, and I felt bad because it was a waste of resources. But yeah, and enough about that. That's why I think some of the fuel came out. It's just because I was tipping the car around while I was trying to aim the exhaust out. So like I said, that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for on this car is the tank pressure, the cap. I'm pretty sure I can replace it with a RS4. I think it's compatible. I'll do some more research into that. But yeah, I think this is ready to go. It did idle after, revving it a little bit, so it did shift. I remember it didn't have a problem shifting before when I was driving it a couple years ago, so I think this should be good. All right. So I've got about an hour here. And this should be ready to fire up. I turned the idle needle. I turned it in half turn, and that made a big difference. That was a excuse me, that was a shift. Nice. I would say that's a little early. Because you don't get too much more out of the top end. But it's too soon to really judge just because this is the first tank after 2 years, so I don't really know what the baseline is. But I would say that can be, that 2-speed clutch can be turned in. I would venture to say as much as a half turn. It is kind of early. Oh. It is shifting kind of early. And when it shifts, it's kind of like ding. And one thing that worries me is whether or not I'm going to chip a tooth. It's almost like a little chirp. I'm just going to say that it's performing well. I don't want to be too picky with these 2-speed adjustments. Might lean out the high end a little too. Oh shit, I hope this isn't the cops. I bet it's out of fuel. So, success. That's pretty good. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit, fill it up with more fuel, and then put the body on it and drive it again. I lucked out and I was able to keep it idling while getting the body on. We all know the struggle. I'm not going to adjust the 2-speed on this one until I have a second one to compare it with. I need to figure out what carb boot to use on the other engine. It's the same engine. Or if I'm just going to use that engine for parts in case something goes wrong with this one. This seems to be doing pretty good. Like I said, I don't want to be too picky with it. This body came out pretty good too. I do wish I backed the inside with black though, but that's alright. I will say that the belt-driven cars don't idle as well as shaft-driven cars. Especially after sitting for a while, the belts get, stiff. It is cruising pretty good, but it's just something I've noticed. Nice. Yeah, this car was definitely slept on. That's probably why I was able to get so many. But, yeah. Doing pretty good. Not much to say. This thing's boogieing. So obviously that car over there is not a cop. Definitely getting towards the end of the tank. Oh. Whoa. Yeah, that's a really good looking car. I knew it was gonna run out of fuel. So yeah, this is a runner. We've got a runner. So I've got to get back and figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest of them. I definitely like this platform, and I'm glad that this didn't take as much to get running as I was anticipating. Glad I was able to run it with the body. It does look really good. Nissan knocked it out of the park with this. I don't know why they went so far away from designs like this. But yeah, I think I'm gonna run another tank. Probably without the body, just because it's a pain in the neck to get the body on. Maybe with the body, we'll see. So I did adjust the camber because these tires, when I used them last, they were on a Tomahawk and that had fixed camber, and the inner treads on all four tires were worn more, and I just made sure to adjust it properly so that the tread would wear evenly, and it has. So I'm glad that that adjustment worked. And when I pulled the body off, I noticed actually that this fuel line here was loose. I noticed it because when I looked at the inside of the body, I saw that there was some stuff, you know, right under the back of that window there. So I looked down and see this, so I'm sure the pull start was flopping around and knocked it out. But yeah, that could have something to do with why towards the end of the tank it seemed a little tired. It's probably because it had low pressure. But yeah, it's gonna cool off a little longer and we're gonna run another tank. If it idles well as I get it started, I'll put the body on. If I have to fight it, then I'm just gonna run it without the body. So again, I'm happy about this just being, you know, ready to drive. I did rebuild this one and the other one with the engine in it. You know, you guys know my process. I did that a while back before the channel here, so they are clean. But Yep. Didn't give me too much trouble, so decided to run with the body. Hey. The only adjustment I made was to the idle. Half turn out. I'm sure it could be a little adjusted a little further out. I did not lean out the high end like I said I was gonna. I really like this car. I wonder if the fuel line came off. Let's check that. Nope. I definitely need to get a GPS unit so I can track how fast these cars go. I want to say this one's going 45. like to do donuts and burnouts just because it's a complete waste. And money doesn't grow on trees. There's a time and a place, but not on my on-road 10 scales, or 8 scales for that matter either. I bet it's out of fuel. Been full throttling it the whole time, so. I definitely want to cut a hole in the windshield because when I picked it up last time, the chassis was super hot. So, anything I can do to help cool off the engine will be good. One of my clients owns a collision center, high class place. They put out good work. But it ain't cheap, and you get what you pay for. So he actually gave me some stuff called dry wash, and he said it would be pretty good for getting the gunk off the bodies. I used it to clean my windshield on my truck, and stuff works really good, so be interested to see how it does for this, the stuff that, you know, parking lot grime. But he said, yeah, just use it on the whole truck. Because it's white, it's gonna do a good job. So use it to clean my truck, and when I clean my truck, I'll clean this body as well. And we'll see the results of that in the next episode about this vehicle. Such a good car, not much to say. Successful session. Looking forward to running the rest. I think 3 tanks is enough. The lights are going to shut off soon anyway. So this is a good time to stop before anything breaks. So, we've got a runner. Needless to say, this is a great car. Very excited to see what the other ones have to bring and what they have to offer. I'm sure it's going to be fine. So I'm going to try out that dry wash after I wash my vehicle to get this area cleaned up. It's beautiful. And I'm going to put a hole in the windshield there just to cool the engine off a little more. And start off the next episode with a clean slate of fresh washed parts. And we'll go from there. I think that's it for this episode. No need to make this video any longer, so